It's patch note time. We ready, chat? Let's read the patch notes. Let's go from here. We don't know what to expect. I'm going to skip through some of the other stuff. Usually this is what I do when I go over patch notes now, is I kind of just like, I kind of just summarize the beginning stuff. So first of all, Stadium continues. You're still getting more Stadium. We have Overwatch 2 Street Fighter collab. You've probably heard about it. Skins look really cool. Mythic Merciful Magitech Mercy weapon skin, which we just tested out. Also really cool. Overwatch Classic October 2020. Can I be real with y'all, chat? This is probably an Overwatch Classic patch I'm probably not going to play. This is just like normal end of Overwatch 1 ranked. That's it. Like, there's nothing about this Classic version I'm like, yeah, let's get in there. Like, this is double shield Sigma comps. That's it. I remember that one. The Seagull patch? Oh, I know what patch it is. That patch is literally that. You're just playing the same thing over and over again. Yep. But yeah, it's good if people like it though, right? Like, if people enjoy it, like, that's fine. This is what happened was this is the patch the game kind of ended up on for a long time. Because then Echo came out, I think. No, Echo was already out. Yeah, this is the patch where it kind of just chilled. So it's still fun, but it might be a little bit different. Yeah, it's double shield, yes. Okay, general updates. Player report tool. Players can now receive an instant notification if a player is already actioned, and prior to this feature, reporting a player that already been banned or suspended would not result in any additional information. So this might be... Is that a me patch? Did they fix that on my side? Because I was never seeing stuff. Okay, so here are updates. So Tank. Hazard. Vault passive ledge climb animation time reduced from 0.6 to 0.4. And then the major perk, Spikes Guard's lifesteal is increased from 25 to 40%. Really? Straight up Hazard buff. I mean, Hazard climbs quicker and you have a better lifesteal on your major perk. Like, straight up, Hazard is just better now. I'm not going to know if meta or not, but I would not doubt it if you see some OWCS teams incorporate Hazard. They already have been. So it says Hazard slower climbing fits his lumber and tank fantasy, but it was a point of friction when trying to chase down or escape from enemies. So we're speeding up how quickly he can vault over a ledge. Additionally, we're boosting Anarchic Zeal's lifesteal as the current value wasn't effective enough. So there you go. Reinhardt. Fire Strike, projectile speed increased from 25 to 30, and the recovery time reduced from 0.63 to 0.45. So it looks like they're buffing some Reinhardt Fire Strike here. Reinhardt generally does well across the game, but falls off in effectiveness at high ranks. We're increasing the speed and responsiveness of Fire Strike to make it more reliable from range. Would this make Rein even better in Stadium, or am I wrong? I think that would make Rein a little bit better in Stadium, but we'll see. Okay, Freya. Freya has been buffed. No, I'm just kidding. Freya... so that's the tanks, by the way. Freya, quick dash cooldown increased from 3.5 to 4 seconds. So that's Freya. I imagine the quick dash cooldown adjustment makes it so you don't chain your shots as much, but I don't know if this will be enough. This feels like the classic, we're introducing Freya to Stadium, so we're not going to overdo it yet and see what happens. It says Freya has continued to climb in win rate now that players have become accustomed to her kit. We are partially reverting the quick dash cooldown to reduce her airtime and frequency of explosive dots. Yeah, that's because she's going to the stadium. Yeah, okay. Genji, the primary and secondary fire ammo has been reduced from 30 to 24, but the projectile speed has been increased from 60 to 75. Wait a second. Does this mean I'm going to be good at Genji? Wait 1 second, because that projectile speed is going to be good. That's why they're nerfing the ammo, is because the projectile speed. Why are they nerfing it? Because this is going to make Genji better. This is going to make players better at Genji. Like, a player like me who's bad at Genji will be better at Genji because of this change right here with the projectile speed. So they're reducing the ammo. That's why they're doing that. Whether or not it'll be good or bad, we'll see. I have to test it out in the range. Okay, Hanzo. Stormbow primary fire. Draw time reduced from 0.8 to 0.72. And the minor perk health pack time hack is from 12 to 30 seconds. Wow, that's a huge change. That perk. Hanzo's been underperforming recently, so we're reverting his bow draw speed back to its original faster value. The Sonic Disruption perk isn't picked very often, but increasing its duration will make it more useful and require less upkeep to control a health pack. And that's one of those, just see how it is. I'll complain about it later, or I won't. It depends what it is. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's going to affect it, so I'm going to wait and see, and then we'll analyze that one, you know? We'll complain later. All right, Farah. Drift Thruster's minor perk, movement speed while using Barrage, reduced by 20%, so you're a little bit slower. And then Concussive Implosion, distance pull reduced by 50%. So they really nerfed Farah's perks here. Drift Thrusters and Concussive Implosion have been too consistent at securing kills. These adjustments will give better opportunities for counterplay when fighting against these perks. So not bad. You know, not bad. Reaper. Dire triggers, major perk, recovery reduced from 0.7 to 0.5. We're aligning the recovery of dire triggers with Reaper's primary fire to improve the flow when alternating between the two. So just a little bit of a buff for the major perk. Soldier 76, Stim Pack major perk, anti-heal removed, finally. That is feedback I gave from day one. It didn't feel good. You shouldn't have to have a teammate required on your team to be able to get rid of the anti-heal. Now, it says it now deals 75 self-damage on use, which is fine, because if you heal in station now, you won't be anti-healed, so now you can get that HP back. It's a trade-off, but it makes sense. And they made it so it's now activated by using weapon swap. So it's not tied to, like, your actual ultimate, you can or your healing station. It's now a separate button. Great changes. This was a good change across the board. This is very good. Stimpack's button mapping made it difficult to activate, especially in combat. Binding it to weapon swap improves the control scheme, and removing the anti-heal makes it less punishing to use. All right, on to Sombra now. Weapon damage increased from 5 to 35. We felt like Sombra is not... Okay, Translocator ability 2. Fade in time increased from 0.15 to 0.3. And then stealth reveal duration on taking damage increased from 1 to 1.3 seconds. That's a Sombra nerf. This is the, you know this reads to me as, chat. Hero bans have shown that Sombra's getting banned a lot. They say invisibility is a frustrating mechanic to play against for many, so we're increasing the windows for counterplay. Sombra will now take longer to exit stealth and to disappear after taking damage. This is trying to shift the bans away from Sombra. So she'll still get banned though, I think. Widowmaker, Widow's Kiss primary fire, maximum spread reduced from 3 to 2 degrees. Oh, yep, I know what that means. Damage increased from 13 to 14. I was hoping for some Widow buffs. That's good. Deadly Dew, Venom Mine's bonus damage increased from 50 to 100. I mean, I'm good at that. Widowmaker is more map-dependent hero than most, and now with hero bans restricting her usefulness, we're looking to make her viable in more situations. Wonderful. Actually, you can get banned more then. No, Widow 76, I know. Oh, man. I think it's just having, map-dependent situations. All right, so there's all your DPS changes. Interesting ones. Not a lot of shifting powers around and, like making it a little bit better. I'm not really upset with it, though. I think it was fine, right? I think that was fine. We'll see how it goes. Freya got a slight nerf, a very small nerf. No Sojourn nerf. Freya will still be really good, so Sojourn will, win rates. Okay. And then only two support changes. Ayari's Solar Rifle Secondary Fire, the heal, has the range increase from 15 to 20 meters. I thought Ayari was already pretty good. Well, Ayari's even better now, so you get longer range. Ayari has to move into high-risk positions to heal effectively. Extending the range in her healing beam will give her more flexibility in how she positions to support her team. Well, I get that a little bit. That's fine. That's okay, then. At least they didn't put power into, the damage, so that's probably a fine change. This is more for not the player who's going to be on an off angle doing damage, more for the player who's with the team, right? So, not like OWCS style, but for a lot of ranked. And then Life Weaver. Developer comments, a Healing Blossom primary fire auto charge rate increased by 25%. And then Super Bloom, the major perk, the number of hits to trigger reduced from 20 to 16. The opportunity cost to use Thorn Volley is still too high compared to constantly charging Healing Blossom. We are improving the auto charge to make weaving damage between healing less punishing. Well, there you go. More Life Weaver buffs, chat. I'm telling you right now, Life Weaver, in my opinion, was already like a sleeper pick. I'm being real with you. You're starting to see a little bit of Life Weaver in OWCS. I think part of that is to Freya. But Life Weaver, I mean, I don't, if we took a chart of how many changes to Life Weaver with buffs, I'm not complaining, by the way. What I'm saying is, if you like Life Weaver, only going to be better here. So, for the Life Weaver players, there you go. Oh, you got the stuff there? I think Life Weaver is going to be played more. I think that just helps with that, yeah. So, for Life Weaver players, you're good to go. All right, so there's your balance changes for the core game. Keep in mind, there is stadium changes too. So if you want me to give you a quick summary, I don't think it's that bad. I think the changes were pretty solid. I think there's going to be, some discussion on Freya. I'll be honest with you, and the reason why I'm a little bit shifted on how I usually go about talking about that stuff, I've been playing both stadium and ranked. I haven't even had time to get frustrated at a hero. Is that bad? And what I mean by that is, outside of Zarya in Stadium and in Core, I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth, having fun on both. So, a lot of, worrying about this and that. So, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, they'll make changes if need be. Obviously, there'll be changes. Oh, yeah, don't worry. Freya's in Stadium now, so there's a world where, I go against that. I'm like, uh-oh. So that's the point I'm making. But yeah, we'll see. All right, stadium updates. Mercy rule now triggers when the cash disparity between the teams is at a 10,000 or more, down from 15K. Ooh, Mercy rule is going to happen more often now. We feel that not enough games that reach 3-0 are triggering the Mercy rule when they probably should. We'll be keeping a close eye on this, and we'll be considering other changes to the Mercy rule system in the future. Okay, here's my take. Not bad. Good change. Maybe there's a world where they up it to like 12.5 if they happen too frequently. But I like the jump they made initially. Does that make sense? Like, I think like testing the waters at 10,000, they can probably fix this now, and they probably have the knobs to be able to do that. So if this ends up being too many Mercy rules, they can probably shift that number again, right? I think that's what will end up happening is they'll probably find an in-between. But what they're doing is like, they need to see both extremes of it, of like, okay, if it's at 10K instead of 15K, where's those numbers at? And they might change it. But overall, I think this is a good start, and this will get rid of some of that frustration factor of like, okay, my team's getting rolled. Like, my team's getting rolled. Oh, no, we have another round. Now, I've had a lot of comebacks from that, but I'm not saying every game's going to be like that. So that's a good change. Round completion cash. We've added a system where players are granted an additional boost to their round completion cash in rounds that end with players on both teams having lower than intended amounts of cash. This additional cash will be equivalent for every player. That sounds good. I don't know how it's going to play, is what I'm saying. Like, I need to see that in real time to understand how valuable that type of change could be. All right? Cool. Okay, now we have the... Oh, wow. Lot here. Okay, Reinhardt. Smashing. The Smashing power has reduced movement speed per stack to 1%. That's a nerf. Reduced lifesteal per stack to 3%, down from 5%. Increase maximum stacks up to 10. The reason why they're doing that is because it's going to take a while to get those stacks anyway, so it's like a trade-off. And then reduce duration to 2 seconds, down from 3. So, yeah, they're nerfing that Reinhardt build. They'll like the melee one. To me, my friend's power increased healing based on max life up to 4% from 3. The Wilhelm power decreased healing from damage mitigated to 5%, down from 15. That's a big change because that's a go-to for Reins. Rocket Strike decreased fire strike projectile speed to 25%, down from 50, and decreased ability power down to 10%. And then Maw decreased ability power to 5%, down from 10. So yeah, they're just nerfing the ability power in like builds. Rein is just good. To compensate for the buff to Reinhardt's Fire Strike and Core Overwatch, we're decreasing the burst potential of Reinhardt's Fire Strike build and normalizing the max projectile speed Fire Strike can reach. That makes sense then. We're also tuning down Reinhardt's melee build to be a bit more counterable, which is performing too consistently given the high payoff of the build. So, still good changes. Rein should be a little bit less of an issue to deal with, but also going to be really strong. So, Rein should still be fine, by the way. If you like Rein, you'll be fine. Okay, Freya. Holy crap, we have... Chat, am I going through all these powers? Okay, chat, can you give me a... Okay, let's do it. I'm going to power through these, okay? Freya is officially a part of Stadium. Ready for the powers? Cyclone. When you use Updraft, fire a take aim bolt at your crosshair. So basically, when you use Updraft, if you're aiming at somebody, you'll take a shot at somebody. Okay. Seeker Point. When take aim bolts stick an enemy, automatically fire 3 additional crossbow shots at them for an additional 66 reduced damage. So that's, I mean, well, if it hits them. So that's good. I mean, that's kind of like that other one. I forgot who has that one. Ash, I think? Seismic Shot. Take aim explosion radius is increased by 33%. Double this if the bolt is stuck to a target. That's pretty good. Thread the Needle. Take aim bolts pierce enemies. Additional explosions deal 66% reduced damage. Pierces enemies? Okay, I'm in. Deep Pockets. When you use an ability, restore 50% of your max ammo. Probably good, but not for me. Forager. For 2 seconds after using Quick Dash, Rev Draw Crossbow hits heal you for 3% of your max HP. That one's okay. Peak Performance. While firing Rev Draw Crossbow, your fall speed is decreased by 80%. Oh, so you can sit in the air forever. Redux Power. Rev Draw Crossbow hits against targets stuck by a take aim bolt or bowler shot. Reduce the cooldown of your abilities by 5% and refunds 1 ammo. So it's kind of like keeps things flowing. Volley Ado. Every 5th Rev Draw Crossbow shot fires an additional 2 bolts in a spread that deals 50% reduced damage. So a lot of us like extra bolts with like reduced damage. I don't know how to say that. After using Updraft, your next take aim while airborne fires a bowler shot that deals 60% reduced damage instead of explosive bolts. So it's a lot of like putting power into different stuff. So Cooked. That's a Dylan made up name there. Bola's Bola shots damage in zone, deals 50% more damage, and lingers for 3 seconds. Bola shot eliminations count toward bounty hunting. That's good. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Holy crap, chat. My bad. Mighty Gust. Updraft launches a wind blast towards your crosshair, knocking back enemies and dealing 40 ability damage. I kind of like that one. Tracker Tag is a new rare hero weapon. 30% max ammo. When you take aim bolt, sticks to an enemy, increases your attack speed by 20. I'm going to be honest with you, chat. We'll look at all these items after. If you want to look at these items, I'll kind of scroll through it. No, never mind. I'm committed to this. Slipstream Scarf, 25 health, 5% weapon power, 25% quick dash distance. Portable Zipline, epic item, 15% weapon power. Eliminations reset both charges of quick dash. That's really good. Windwalker Boots, 25 HP, 5% cooldown reduction, 20% updraft height. So if you want to go higher, you can. That might combo well with the updraft stuff. Magnetic Maelstrom, 15% ability power. Bola shot pulls in nearby enemies even when it misses. That's going to be strong. Hunter's Mark, 25 HP. Enemies with a bounty of 75 or more are revealed to you within 40 meters. Eliminate them, grants 250 additional stadium cash. There's going to be a lot of stadium cash, Freyas. Arrow Weave Cloak, 25 HP, 100% take aim, slowed move momentum duration. That's pretty good. Tourniquet, 25 HP. This is all rare. Those items I just last two I read. After using updraft, reset quick dash and gain 50% over health for 5 seconds. Pretty good there. Wait, 750 plus? Oh, 7 enemies with a bounty of 750. That makes sense. Yeah, it's broken. It's just broken on the text. It just was, yeah, it's 750. And then Toxin Tips, 50 HP, and take aim, bolts, stick, and explosives. Slow enemies by 30%, but take 1 second longer to explode. For anybody who's going, wow, you read that really fast, I'm sorry. There was so much here. I had to get through that, otherwise I'd be here all day. So, Soldier 76, cratered power. Oh, man. Reduced increased explosion damage to 15%. You gotta be kidding me. There goes my Helix rocket build. You kidding me? Soldier 76 Helix rocket build is one shot and a little too consistently. We're decreasing the damage here a bit to reduce the burst potential. Oh, man. Now I have to go the aimbot one that everybody goes. I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. I don't know why they haven't addressed the Cassidy build yet. That one's very confusing to me. Because the Cassidy build is really, really strong in Stadium. And, like, that is a frustration point for a lot of players right now. So I'm very, very surprised that Cassidy wasn't included in this one. There's got to be a reason. Maybe the win rates aren't matching up in some way. But that Cassidy weapon power build is, like, rough for people to play against. Like, it's just not as... It's just, you can't do anything half the time. So I'm surprised they didn't do that. So, that's all I'm saying is that's just a very... it's a surprise. Okay, anyway. Durella comments, stacking large amounts of weapon power or ability power has become too prevalent, crowding out other itemization options. We are lowering the cost efficiency of these items to promote greater item diversity and weaken builds that rely on high amounts of burst through stacking weapon or ability power. We're also strengthening some weaker item options. Okay, maybe this is where the Cassidy stuff comes into play. Champion's Kit cost increased to 14,000 and decreased the ability power to 35%, so there's a nerf there. The Closer increased the weapon cost to 14,500. Eye of the Spider increased cost to 14,000. Nano Cola increased the cost to 6,000. Talon Modification 6,000. Gloom Gauntlet's now 10,000. Icy Coolant is now 5,500. This is all going up, by the way. And then Multi-Tool that decreased the cost to 4,500, but decreased the cooldown reduction, but then increased the ability power 5%, 10% respectfully there. Respectfully, I don't know why I'm saying that, but Bloodhound decreased cost to 9,000. The Vial increased life after reviving to 250. That's the epic survival item. Electrolytes, common survival item, now gives 100 over health every time you respawn instead of just at the round. That's a good one. But increased the cost to 1,500. Good change. An Adrenaline Shot. Common survival item, increased health to 25, up from 10, and increased the cost to 1,500. So there you go. I think I want to see what this cost of the item increase does. I'm curious to see if this maybe gets rid of some of those breakpoints that Cassidy can get. That might be the case here. So there's all your changes. My take, again, good changes for Stadium. I am concerned about Cassidy, but I do see a lot of these general items. So let me play a few games of Stadium to get a general vibe of how that's going to feel. Because a lot of those were like involved into like weapon power and increasing the cost, which might change the breakpoints of rounds, right? So we'll see how that goes. Again, Stadium team has kind of proven that if Cassidy still is an issue, they'll do another patch ASAP. They're just patching like crazy. They're not worried about a lot of the other stuff that you would normally worry about in those situations, you know? Bug fixes. Fix an issue where challenger not progressing. A graphical error, okay. Heroes, a Doom, a Yari, Mercy fixes. The Mercy one is where you'd be spawned in there, so that should be good for now. You won't be spawned in the spawn doors. So there you go. And then a lot of stadium bug fixes. Give me a second here to just like... Oh, the rank progress bar is fixed now, so you won't have that issue. Oh, good news, chat. Codebreaker item wasn't working with Zarya, so Zarya now gets an indirect buff, which we were all hoping for in Stadium. The Mercy rule bug is now fixed. The Mercy first responder power is back. Armor you can load in the complete state. I've had that happen. Tracking for Diva. Fix an issue that causes soldier. Okay, so a lot of just like fixes to the items and all that. So, cool. So there you go. Pretty good patch. I have no complaints.